Hello, everyone, or should I already start calling you word wizards, given that you have already attended the first two sessions by Abhyansh Sir and Suyukti ma'am? And yeah, today's class is about word power made easy. We'll be kind of covering two sessions today, and you'll all be already, I think, familiar with the etymological order of things. So, अगर तुम लोगों ने पहले दो sessions attend किए होंगे तो तुम लोगों को पता होगा कि we learn the words through root words. Now, today's class is going to be where vocabulary is not simply memorized but also dramatized. And to make matters interesting, that's exactly what I have done today. So basically, what we are going to do is we are going to first of all understand the root words, and then we'll move forward with a story, okay, where things would be, I would say, very easily explained to you and something that you'll remember for a long period of time. And that's exactly what vocabulary should, be like, right? Because the problem with retention is something which is universal. So let's get started with the session. As you can see on the screen, this is session 3. So today's first set of words is going to be a story about Hall of Talkers. In simple words, you're going to understand how people talk. Some people talk too much, and some people do not really like to waste their words. And that's exactly what you're going to learn about in the first session. Second part is going to have people who behave differently, and we can call it like an arcade of behavior. So you'll understand how people behave differently in different situations, or in general, uh, something that tells you about the behavioral patterns of people. Okay, so as you can see here, the first word of the day is loquacious. I hope everything is visible on the screen. So loquacious comes from the root word loq, lock, which also means talking. So as you can see, it means to speak or to talk. The second part, which is acious, represents something which is inclined to or something which is full of something. For example, you can even take the word spacious for that matter. So spacious का भी मतलब यही होता है ना कि something that has a lot of room. So moving forward, loquacious is a person who is inclined to talk too much, somebody who speaks a lot. The teachers like to call such people chatterbox, right? So that's the first word. Now, some related words. So whenever you see the root word LOQ being used, that means it should, ring a bell. And आपको पता होना चाहिए कि it's related to talking. Like the first word is eloquent. Now, an eloquent speaker is somebody who speaks beautifully and clearly. ठीक है? For example, somebody who is able to articulate their thoughts in a very smooth way, that person would be known as an eloquent speaker. The second word is soliloquy. I think you might have, studied or read this word probably if you have read anything by Shakespeare. Or maybe Old English में soliloquy बहुत commonly use हुआ करता था. So again, it has the word LOQ, which means again, it's somehow related to talking. What does that mean? So SOL, you can understand it, solitude. ठीक है, solitude is when somebody likes to enjoy their own company over the company of others. So अकेले जब हम बात करते हैं, when you talk to oneself is a soliloquy. Okay, moving on to the next word, which is garrulous. So garrulous again is a synonym of the word loquacious. Garrulous comes from the root word garrive, which also means to chatter, like you can see here. Somebody who tends to chatter a lot, somebody who talks a lot. Then we have prattle. Prattle का मतलब होता है foolish talk, or in simple words, nonsensical talks. ठीक है? So there are certain people who love to engage in prattle, nonsense, drivel. हम इनको nonsensical बातें बोल सकते हैं, foolish, inconsequential. Moving to the next word, taciturn comes from the word tacitus. Tacitus का मतलब होता है silent. ठीक है? So अगर तुम लोगों को जब वी मेट याद होगी, तो जब वी मेट में there is a character Aditya. Shahid Kapoor has played the role of Aditya, and in the beginning, the first half of the story, you might have seen that Shahid Kapoor is extremely quiet. He's very reserved. He does not speak about his feelings openly, so he's not very vocal about it. So somebody who is characterized by silence, या आप बोल सकते हो habitually silent, such people are known as taciturn people. ठीक है? The word tacit means unspoken, and also it is related to the word reticent, which is the next word, by the way. सो रेटिसेंट का भी मतलब यही होता है कि somebody who holds themselves back from speaking. ठीक है, दो तरीके के लोग होते हैं, एक बहुत ज्यादा बात करते हैं, एक बहुत कम बात करते हैं, तो we can call them reticent or taciturn. So as you can see, reticent comes from re. Re is the root word. Re का मतलब क्या होता है, आपने recap, ठीक है, redo. So इसका मतलब है trace back. Tesser is the etymology here. To be silent, and ENT represents inclined to. So somebody who is inclined to remain silent is a reticent person. Okay. And then we can see here related words like tacit, which indicates again silence. So tacit, reticent, taciturn, they are all closely related synonyms of each other. And the next word, as you can see, is voluble. So voluble is something that resembles the word volume, right? But volume जो होता है वो हम बात कर रहे होते हैं whether we are talking in a high pitch or a low pitch sound, ठीक है? But you can understand voluble when you are able to roll out words easily. So that means as a speaker, words come to you easily. You are not somebody who is scrounging for words or struggling to get the next word. That means again somebody who is well spoken is a voluble person, so able to roll out words easily. Then we have the word wolf, which is the root word to roll. तो जैसे कि हमने revolve पढ़ा हुआ, revolve में भी आप समझ सकते हो कि it is related to rolling, ठीक है, to roll around something. And evolve also has the same root word vol, which again means to roll out over time. That means to progress, to advance, to transition, ठीक है, and to become better. Then we have verbose. So you can remember verbose as verb plus overdose. किसी भी चीज का overdose. So इसका मतलब ये होता है कि when a person uses one too many words, एक ही चीज को समझाने के लिए जब आप बहुत सारे words use कर रहे हो, तो एक तरीके से you have become a verbose speaker. So as you can see, verb का मतलब है word, and O's or overdose is full of words, overly wordy. So when things are overly wordy, they actually become confusing. ठीक है, because you are not able to get to the gist of the matter or crux of the issue. तो इसीलिए always refrain from being a verbose speaker. Related words, verbal का मतलब होता है again related to speech, related to words. And then we have the word proverb. तुम लोगों ने मुहावरे और लोकोक्तियां सुनी होंगी, तो लोकोक्तियां is basically what, a short wise saying, something that teaches you something profound, something that teaches you something which normally you might not gather or accumulate. Then we have the next word circumlocutory. So circumference अगर तुम लोगों को याद होगा या circle याद होगा, तो circum का मतलब होता है around, okay? एंड लोक का मतलब तो वैसे भी टॉक होता है, तो घुमा फिरा के बात करना इज बीइंग circumlocutory. It means something which is characterized by speaking around the point. तो एक तरीके से आप बोल सकते हो कि when you're probably trying to hide something or maybe probably trying to lie to somebody, तो आप सच जो है वो डायरेक्टली नहीं बताते हो. You are going to, you know, go down the circular path. आप बहुत सारी बातें करोगे जिससे कि the other person gets confused, okay, and probably forgets the main matter. And related words are circumlocution, which is the act of talking in circles. Basically, there is no outcome of such talks. ऐसे discussions करने का मतलब ही नहीं है जिसकी कोई outcomes ही नहीं है. Elocution, again, people might have participated in elocution. Elocution school में होता है, and it basically means the art of clear and expressive speaking. You basically get a topic and you're supposed to speak on it. Okay, and if you have that skill, that means you're good at elocution. So elocution के बाद we have a small story here. Now, I have already talked about these words, and now it's time for you to, put the meanings with the respective words. By the way, the story itself is sufficient to make you understand the meanings of such heavy words. तो अगर हम देखें यहाँ पे, so this is the Great Debate Club disaster. How many of you were interested in debating competitions? If you were, and hi Raviraj, how are you? Good afternoon. So yeah, coming back to, you might have participated in debates, right? So यहाँ पे at the prestigious Lexicon Academy, by the way, lexicon is just another word for vocabulary. ठीक है? So at the Lexicon Academy, something was brewing, as you can see. So there was a student club known as the Grandiloquent gabbers. We did not really discuss the word grandiloquent, but LOQ दिया हुआ है यानी कि again it's related to talking. So somebody who speaks in a grandiloquent manner is somebody who speaks in an exaggerated or a manner where they are pompous, या somebody who is trying to impress other people. तो ऐसे तरीके की जब कोई बात करता है तो they are a grandiloquent speaker. ठीक है. देन वी हैव गैबर्स. गैबिंग का भी मतलब यही होता है कि व्हेन यू टॉक अबाउट समथिंग विच इज इररेलेवेंट और इनसिग्निफिकेंट, ठीक है, आप फालतू की बातें कर रहे हो तो यू विल बी कंसिडर्ड अ गैबर. ठीक है, यू आर जस्ट गैबिंग अबाउट ऑफ समथिंग विच इज ऑफ नो सिग्निफिकेंस. So यहाँ पे क्या हुआ कि there was this student club known as the Grandiloquent Gabbers, and every Thursday its 7 members gathered for a friendly debate. एक friendly debate हर Thursday को हुआ करती थी यहाँ पे, ठीक है. But this week it was a bit different. Why? Because this time the debate was going to be judged by the headmaster himself. So automatically things got a little more serious than usual. So as we can see, the first person, as the bell rang, the first person who was super eager and excited was loquacious Lucy. अभी मैंने loquacious का मीनिंग तुम लोगों के साथ डिस्कस किया था. अब तुम्हें नहीं भी अगर याद आ रहा है तो आफ्टर रीडिंग द फर्स्ट 3 lines you will be able to understand what is the meaning of loquacious. So you can write your answers. Loquacious Lucy leapt from her seat ready to begin. I have so much to say about this topic. Okay, I could go on for hours. तो इससे क्या पता चलता है? Loquacious Lucy is a great talker. Can we understand that? She loves to chat. She loves to talk endlessly. Yes, that's exactly what it means. So, as soon as she started with her speech, it felt like जैसे माइक्रोवेव में से पॉपकॉर्न एक साथ गिरते हैं. Basically, she has no stop. That's the way she started speaking in a non-stop fashion. Next up was garrulous Gary. I already told you loquacious and garrulous, they both are synonyms of each other. अब garrulous Gary को देखो. Now, he somehow started talking about climate change, but then ended up detailing what he had for breakfast, lunch, and the emotional journey of choosing between tea and coffee. तो एक तरीके से हम देख सकते हैं कि वो अपने सब्जेक्ट से ही भटक गया है because he has been chattering endlessly. ठीक है? So that is the meaning of garrulous. Somebody who talks a lot and basically loses their train of thought when they are talking. And then I realized almond milk just does not froth the same way. He's still talking about the art of picking the right coffee, picking the right milk. Still continuously talking. He rambled as eyes glazed over. Then we see taciturn Tim, meanwhile, said exactly one word. If somebody is only answering in monosyllables, इसका मतलब है उनको बात करना वैसे ज़्यादा पसंद नहीं है. So this person is a reserved person, somebody who does not like to speak too much. He responded in one word, agreed. Then there was reticent Ria. Stood up next, cleared her throat and sat back down. तो इसका मतलब है she did not utter a single word. Again, can taciturn and reticent be used as synonyms? Of course, yes. Both of them do not like to talk too much. Podium with the elegance of a TED Talk speaker. तुम लोगों ने देखा ही होगा कि TED Talk speakers कैसे होते हैं. ठीक है? They are so confident and they know how to convey whatever they want to very brilliantly. So यहाँ पे भी वही देखने को मिला. The words flowed effortlessly out of her. It even convinced the janitor to, patiently wait and listen to her. But when verbose Victor got his turn, things got pretty heated, pretty heavy. Verbose का मतलब होता है verb overdose. That means words का overdose. तो इसका मतलब है उसने जब बात करना स्टार्ट की, in reference to the current conversational proposition, or shall we say oral exchange of ideation, basically is simply talking about the beginning, the start of the debate, the topic. Okay? One must contemplate the intricate, multifaceted components. तो किसी ने पीछे से चिल्ला के बोला, just say what you mean. इतना घुमा फिरा के क्यों बात कर रहे हो? Why are you using so many words? More words than necessary for this debate. Okay? Then we have finally circumlocutory Sindhi. Circum means around, loc means talk, and it means somebody who talks in a roundabout fashion. तो इन्होंने भी घुमा फिरा के बात करना स्टार्ट किया. As you can see, the words I will now in the fullness of time approach, though not directly. तो सीधे सीधे बात कोई कर ही नहीं रहा है. ठीक है? So she never actually finished her point, and the judges left mid sentence. That means the judges got so bored that they decided to leave instead rather than listening to the speech. And so the great debate club disaster ended in chaos, which is disorder, caffeine, and confusion. There was no result, no reward because of the variety of speakers the judges had to bear. Okay, and that's how we end the first story. So we can see here there are some questions. Please answer them in the chat box. Did loquacious Lucy talk a lot during her speech? The first speaker. Did she talk a lot? I think we'll all agree. Yes, she did. Then, did Garrulous Gary stay on topic throughout his speech? So he started with climate change, then he started talking about picking, having a choice between tea and coffee, then he started talking about almond milk. So did he stay on topic? Nope. Did Taciturn Tim say more than one sentence? He replied in one word. तो sentence तो दूर की बात है. Then we have, did reticent Ria complete a full speech? She stood up, but she did not utter a single word. So no. Was voluble Vera's speech clear and persuasive? Yes, indeed it was. It was the most impressive speech because words flew in a smooth fashion. Did verbose Victor use simple, direct language? If he is a verbose person, then he'll be using too many words. So, no. Did circumlocutory Cindy directly mention the word honesty? Circumlocutory means घुमा फिरा के बात करना, तो वो बिल्कुल भी डायरेक्टली बात तो करेगी नहीं. That means no. Did the judges stay until the end of all the speeches? The judges had to leave because of circumlocutory Cindy's speech, because they were not able to understand what she's trying to convey. So, was the debate considered a successful event? It was a disaster. Did loquacious Lucy continue talking after the debate ended? Yes. She's a talkative person. She does not have anything to lose. Okay? And then, yes, Divyansh, I'll definitely convey this, and there will be a session for that as well. Don't worry. Now we have the second one, and after that, we'll also have a quiz on the two set of words that we have discussed. Okay, now here we are talking about different types of personalities. Okay, people obviously have different personalities, and cynical is the first one that we are going to discuss. ठीक है, तो cynical की अगर हम बात करें तो ये रूट वर्ड किससे आता है? cynicos से. So originally cynicos का मतलब होता है something which is, you know, आप बोल सकते हो related to dogs. Usually पहले के ज़माने में जो sages hermits रहा करते थे, they used to live like dogs because they were not really dependent on the materialistic pleasures of life. So as you can see, somebody who rejects social norms and lives simply like dogs. But over the course of time, the word cynical, it also evolved. तो जब हम cynical की बात करते हैं, तो Gen Z की भाषा में अगर हम बोले, तो a cynical person is one with trust issues. तो बताओ, कितने लोग हैं यहाँ पे जो trust issues को जानते हैं? I think सबको ही पता है what are trust issues, right? So somebody who is distrustful of other people's intentions. इसका मतलब है the first thought in my mind if somebody tries to help me would be what? कि इसमें इसका कुछ ना कुछ फायदा तो होगा. This is something which is done only out of selfishness. तो अगर तुम्हारा पहला ख्याल ये है लोगों को लेके, तो that means you are a cynical person. And as you can see, cynic is a related word, a person who believes people are selfish, जो कि मैंने तुम लोगों को अभी बताया. And cynicism is basically a general attitude of distrust. So if you are somebody who actually is struggling or going through cynicism, then I think it's time to trust the world a little more. Okay, not everybody is bad. Sardonic. Sardonic comes from sardonios. या आप बोल सकते हो sarcasm. Sarcasm का मतलब तो तुम लोगों को पता ही होगा. Basically saying the opposite of what you mean. So if your day is going really terrible and if somebody asks you, so how's your day going? You will say, I haven't had a better day in my life. This is a miracle. सो जो आप फील कर रहे हो उसका कुछ उल्टा बोलना, दैट्स sarcasm, right? And sardonic is basically a more criticizing, a more harsh way of using sarcasm. ठीक है, तो एक तरीके से you are trying to hurt somebody when you are using sarcasm, so that is sardonic. ठीक है, so as you can see, meaning grimly mocking or sarcastic. So it's a combination of mockery and sarcasm. Mockery का मतलब होता है direct insult when you're trying to poke fun in a direct way, and sarcasm का मतलब होता है indirect insult. So it's a combination of both, but it is going to be more biting. ठीक है, biting का मतलब यही होता है कि something that is meant to hurt other people, right? So sardonicism, sardonically, again, the same thing. It means scornful sarcasm or sarcastic in a mocking way. That is sardonically. Then we have pessimistic. I think pessimistic is that one word which everybody is well aware of. It comes from the word pessimist, or pessimist का मतलब होता है worst. To think the worst of somebody. कि कुछ अच्छा तो होने ही नहीं वाला है. Basically a negative thinker. Okay? So such people, they easily find problems with every solution, for every solution, I should say. ठीक है, तो solution मिल चुका है, but आप solution में भी problem ढूंढ रहे हो, so you are obviously pessimistic, you are a negative thinker, you are probably hopeless about yourself and the world, and tending to expect the worst outcome. So the words which are related is pessimist and pessimism. A pessimist is a person who thinks negatively, and pessimism is basically a general attitude where you believe that all the bad things are going to happen in the world. ठीक है? Then we have apathetic. Apathetic, first of all, का मतलब होता है without. So wherever you see the word being used, that means it means without. Then we have pathos, feeling. So without feeling is being apathetic. In simple terms, such a person will be indifferent. ना उन्हें खुशी खुश करती है, ना दुख दुखी करता है. ठीक है, they are going to be stoic. Stoic का मतलब होता है somebody who does not really express their emotions. A couldn't care less attitude भी बोल सकते हो आप, कि they don't really care about what goes around in the world. ठीक है, so something which is without feeling, indifferent or emotionally unresponsive. So apathy का मतलब होता है lack of interest or concern, and empathy या empathy. Empathy का मतलब होता है when you feel deeply about somebody else. So as you can see, ability to understand others' feelings is becoming empathetic. When you actually walk in other people's shoes to understand their problems, ऐसे बहुत सारे लोग होते हैं, and more often than not, such people hurt themselves more क्योंकि वो इतने ज्यादा दूसरों के लिए हेल्पफुल या काइंड होते हैं कि इट काइंड ऑफ becomes negative for them only. So it's good to be an empath though. It's a very good thing. Then we have belligerent. Belligerent comes from the root word bellum, and that means war. And gerere means to wage. That means to wage a war. किसी के साथ लड़ाई करना. So स्कूल में ऐसे लोग मिले होंगे तुम लोगों को who are intentionally trying to pick a fight with you. And a good example of that could be your siblings also, your brother, your sister. You are minding your own business in your room and they'll come and they'll intentionally start arguing with you. ऐसा कितने लोगों के साथ हुआ है? हुआ तो होगा ही, of course. ठीक है? So such a person will be known as belligerent. Such people are hostile, that means unfriendly. They are ready to fight, they are aggressive. And I generally like to ignore such people. So bellicose is another word which also means aggressive or warlike in nature because it comes from the word bellum or bell, as you can see. तो यहाँ पे भी rebel का मतलब होता है re का मतलब होता है again, and bellum means war. That means someone who fights back is a rebel, someone who protests. Then we have petulant. Petulant comes from the root word peter, and it means to attack or to strive. एंड पेट्यूलेंस का मतलब होता है इजीली इरिटेबल, जो बहुत जल्दी अनॉयड हो जाए, बहुत जल्दी फ्रस्ट्रेटेड हो जाए. दैट मीन्स इट्स वेरी इजी टू आप बोल सकते हो मेक समबडी एंग्री. सो सच अ पर्सन विल बी पेट्यूलेंट. यूजुअली टॉडलर्स आर पेट्यूलेंट. तुमने देखा होगा छोटे बच्चे जो होते हैं बहुत इजीली इरिटेट हो जाते हैं. सो इरिटेबल, मूडी, सल्की ओवर स्मॉल अनोयंसेस. कोई बड़ी प्रॉब्लम भी नहीं है, छोटी छोटी चीजों में आप अनॉयड हो गए. ठीक है, So the first word is petulance, being childishly sulky, bad tempered, or impetuous. Again, both of them come from the same root word, which is peter or petulant. Acting quickly without thought. That means you act on an impulse, and that is how you become impetuous. Okay, you do not give two thoughts about it. And the last one is supercilious. Super का मतलब होता है above everything, right? That's the reason why we use super. Super is a positive, आप बोल सकते हो prefix. And cilium is the eyelid or brow. So when somebody literally raises their brow, eyebrows, ठीक है, तो इसका मतलब ये होता है कि ये तो लिटरल मीनिंग है, बट ऑब्वियसली उसका फिगरेटिव मीनिंग का मतलब होता है कि आपको कुछ देख के आपने ऐसे किया, that means you are acting in an excessively arrogant manner. आप घमंड डिस्प्ले कर रहे हो, ठीक है? So arrogance or disdainful, that means you are looking down on other people. You think of yourself as superior and the other person as inferior. That's when you behave in a supercilious manner. Relatable words or related words, superciliary, which is again literally related to eyebrow, and superstructure, इसका मतलब है समथिंग विच इज बिल्ट अबव द बेस. सो हम बोल सकते हैं लाइक द एटिक इन अ हाउस, ओके, या आप बोल सकते हो द टेरेस इन अ हाउस. दैट इज अ सुपर स्ट्रक्चर. ओके, नाउ लेट्स सी अ स्टोरी. Again, the story itself will help you understand what these words mean. So look at the story. We are at the Museum of Misery, where every guide has a unique attitude problem, क्योंकि हमने यहाँ पे personalities ही देखी है, right, with different attitudes. So you are not just visiting exhibits. आप सिर्फ चीजें देखने नहीं आए हो. You are actually experiencing the different personalities and attitudes of your guides, tour guides. So the first one is cynical Sid. Look at the kind of words he uses. Your tour begins with Sid, who welcomes you with a half-hearted shrug. Half-hearted means he does not even want to be there. Okay. Oh, you believe people are nice, cute. Everyone's just in for themselves. So सबसे पहले sentence जो उसने बोला होता है, तुम्हें क्या लगता है? People are cute. They are actually there to help you. ठीक है? वो बोलता है everybody is there for themselves. That means everybody is selfish. You ask about a donation box at the entrance. Charity, please. That's just tax evasion in disguise. तो अगर आप charity भी करना चाह रहे हो, तो उसके लिए उस भी रिमार्क उसके पास तैयार है. वो बोलता है, ओ तुम तो सिर्फ टैक्स एवेजन से बचना चाह रहे हो. दैट्स व्हाई यू आर डोनेटिंग. सो अगेन दे आर, आप बोल सकते हो, question, like they are questioning the intentions of the other person. Then we have sardonic Sia. I already told you sardonic is a combination of sarcasm plus mockery in a more harsh manner, right? So next up, Sia gives you a tour of the history of human achievement while rolling her eyes the whole time. Generally, people who roll their eyes, that means they are either smirking at somebody, or they are mocking at somebody, or they are sarcastic about something. So as you can see, yes, वो सबसे पहले बोलती है the moon landing. Moon landing is a huge achievement for us, but look at the way she's perceiving it. She says it's humanity's biggest ego trip. That means अच्छा है अपने ego boost करने के लिए, अच्छी चीज है. Okay, that means she is sarcastic. When a kid says they want to be an astronaut, she smirks. Adorable. Let me know how that works out for you when you are 40 and still paying rent. That means she is very, आप बोल सकते हो, negative. Also, she is making fun of other people, although the little kid did not deserve it, but still she does not stop herself from using that sarcastic remark, and she's trying to hurt that little kid. Okay, so as you can see, वो बोलती है कि देखते हैं जब when you will be 40 and still paying rent, let's see whether your dream comes true or not. Okay, then we have pessimistic Pete. Pessimistic means a negative thinker, right? So as you can see, then comes Pete, who sighs before he even starts. आते से सबसे पहले तो because he does not want to be there, right? Then this next room is dedicated to the future, not that it matters, because a negative person does not really worry about the future. For them, everything is falling apart any which way, right? Someone sneezes, great, now we'll probably get the plague. भाई किसी ने छींका, छींकने से plague तो नहीं आ सकता, but they will always, wish the worst out of a situation. So that's exactly what we can see pessimistic Pete doing. And then we have a pathetic Amy. So, a pathetic means without feelings. She does not showcase or display her feelings. Amy doesn't even stand up when you enter her wing of the museum. So, she did not even bother welcoming you. Oh, you're here. Cool, I guess. She doesn't say much, doesn't care much. Fire alarm goes off and she just shrugs. Meh, if we burn, we burn. So that means even when there is a situation where the building can catch fire, she is still without any feelings. ठीक है? And she does not display it. So she is, आप बोल सकते हो एक तरीके से indifferent to the current situation. She does not really care enough about anything. Okay? And then we have belligerent Ben. Belligerent, bellum means war, and it means to wage a war against somebody, somebody who's aggressive, unfriendly. So such a person is belligerent Ben. Ben's supposed to explain the history of conflict, but instead he himself starts arguing with the audio guide. वो खुद ही लड़ाई करना स्टार्ट कर देता है, ठीक है? And that recording is wrong. Napoleon wasn't shot. You are. Actually, Napoleon was shot. But he's fighting with the audio guide that you are wrong. He challenges a 9-year-old to a duel. Duel means आओ और मुझसे लड़ाई करो. So imagine a grown-up person challenging a 9-year-old to have a fight with him. Okay, that's obviously shocking. Then we have petulant Priya. Now, when we talk about petulant, it means somebody who easily gets annoyed or irritated. So as you enter the next room, Priya is pouting in the corner. Pouting ka matlab hai she's already not too happy about the current situation. Nobody listens to me. I wanted this exhibit to be about me. इसका मतलब है कि कोई उसकी बात नहीं सुनता है. She simply wanted to run the show on her own individually, solo. She storms off mid-tour because someone said her hair looked fine. तो उसको इसी बात से बुरा लग गया क्योंकि किसी ने उसको बोला कि your hair looks fine, which is not a bad thing by the way, but she easily got irritated and left the room. And the last one is supercilious Steve. So as you can see, finally Steve glides in wearing a velvet cape and a nose so high it could touch clouds. Somebody who behaves in a haughty manner, Haughty, arrogant, घमंडी, जिस तरीके के कपड़े पहने वो भी यही डिस्प्ले कर रहे हैं. So welcome to the final and obviously superior part of the museum. The section about me, that means such a person would consider themselves superior and other people inferior, and we can see that. He corrects everyone's pronunciation. Look at the audacity of this man. He's correcting everybody for their pronunciation of everything, even museum. And as the group leaves, a sign by the exit reads, "Thanks for visiting. Come again if you are emotionally prepared." Of course, when you meet such different, आप बोल सकते हो, such different people, also with such different attitudes, automatically you need a break. So nobody comes back, but reviews are 5 stars because misery loves company. So people intentionally give this a 5 star so that other people visit this place and they also go through the same thing that the previous people went through. So that's where the story ends, as you can see. And finally, we have some questions here. So choose the correct option for each question. As you can see, the first few questions are MCQs. So if you have an answer, let me know in the chat box. Any answers? So as you can see, somebody who is likely to give a long-winded, overly formal speech. Who is going to be that person? Any idea? So वैसे people who use more words than necessary, they are known as verbose. Do you think it's going to be verbose Victor? Or somebody else? See, it cannot be taciturn Tim because taciturn Tim does not like to speak at all. Similarly, reticent Ria will also not really give a speech. Apathetic, she does not care. So the only valid answer is verbose Victor. Yes. If someone speaks fluently with ease, that means they are voluble. Belligerent, जो लड़ाई करने के लिए ready है. Sardonic, who is sarcastic, plus using mockery to reveal their feelings. And supercilious, somebody who is behaving in an arrogant fashion. तो voluble ही answer है कि somebody who gives a smooth speech. Which person believes everyone acts out of selfish motives? So who has trust issues in simple words? It's obviously Mr. Sid, cynical Sid. जिसको trust issues होंगे वो होगा cynical. Pessimistic Pete is a negative thinker. Apathetic doesn't care. Garrulous talks too much. A person who avoids getting to the point is being. So, generally, you avoid getting to the point when you're trying to hide something or when you're just trying to confuse the other person. That means आप घुमा फिरा के बात कर रहे हो. और घुमा फिरा के और going around, the root word is circum, right? So, what should be the answer? Very good, Suraj. Absolutely correct. Circumlocutory. बिल्कुल सही. Loquacious means talkative. Taciturn means quiet, reserved. Petulant means somebody who easily gets annoyed, right? Fifth one, someone who refuses to speak much even when asked to. So, if you remember, Ria was supposed to give a speech. She stood up and then sat down, not even saying a single word. Reticent is the answer. What does it mean if someone has a supercilious attitude? सुपर का मतलब है सुपीरियर, ऐसा याद रख लेना. So automatically the answer is they act superior or look down on others. They think they are the best. And which of the following would best describe someone who mocks others with bitter humor? So I told you that usage of sarcasm and mockery in a bitter manner, in a biting manner, is what we call sardonic. So answer is option B. Then the next one is a match the following question. So if you have the answers ready, what you can do is, for example, one का answer A है, so we'll be using 1A. You don't have to write the entire thing. Let's discuss the answers. So loquacious is actually extremely talkative. One is A. Apathetic, that means without feelings. So that means they are uninterested or unresponsive. Taciturn is somebody who does not like to talk. Habitually silent. Sardonic, using bitter sarcasm, marked by bitter or scornful sarcasm. Then we have belligerent. Belligerent, somebody who likes to wage a war against others, aggressive, unfriendly, hostile, and aggressive. Circumlocutory means घुमा फिरा के बात करना. So that means tending to avoid direct speech. And cynical is obviously the last one. Believes that people are motivated by self interest, people are selfish in general, and even if they are trying to help you, it's because of their ulterior motives. They want something out of it. Okay, so that's it from my side, guys. And we have completed two sessions. I think it was session 16 and 17. Please revise these words and try using it because the words that we have discussed can be actually frequently used in our day-to-day conversations. So yeah, I'll be seeing you soon. Thank you so much for your time. Have a great day. Bye bye.